Anyway, Val, you want to go ahead and share your story, how you got introduced to Plexus and kind of what it's done for you so far?
Okay, sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Val, like Steph said. I'm a gold ambassador here in Hawaii. I'm on the island of Kauai. And my story is kind of, it's a little different from everybody else's because no one actually came to me with Plexus. I'm a believer, and I was actually diagnosed with diabetes in 2014 because I was hospitalized for asthma and allergies. 2 years prior to that, I was going in and out of the ER for my asthma. I had a lot of things going on. I was on prednisone and all those types of medication. I had a lot of sinus infections, so I was always in the ER. And so then when I was hospitalized, they told me, oh, yeah, and by the way, you didn't even tell us that you have diabetes. And I was like, I don't have diabetes, so they were like in the 300s. It was really, really high. And I didn't even know. I was like, oh, okay, so where's it supposed to be? And they're like, under 100. And I was like, what? So that kind of like worried me. I was like, oh, no. So they actually ended up putting me on metformin and the Victoza pen. And they told me the Victoza pen would help to suppress my appetite, would help to balance my blood sugar and all that. So I was doing that. I was dreading it because I didn't like poking myself with a needle every single day, and it was just kind of went in a little like depression also because I was like, why did I let myself get this, get like this? So I was pretty sad, and I was going to the Lord in prayer about it, and I ended up starting to get pains actually in my back, and the diabetes lady told me, well, one of the side effects is pancreatitis or something like that. And I was like, what? You guys trying to balance my blood sugar and you're making me shoot myself with something that's going to give me like cancer? I was like, I'd rather have the sugar and not the cancer, so that's the kind of stuff that I was dealing with. And she said, you just got to keep doing it. But it wasn't helping my blood sugar at all. So one morning in April, my daughter, she would help me, my oldest daughter, she would help me to poke myself. And she told me that I had welts on my stomach. She's like, Mom, look at your stomach. And so she just started crying. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm not teaching my kids anything in health. I'm teaching them how to serve the Lord, be faithful in the ministry, be good and do good in school. But when it came to health, I felt like I was failing them. And I didn't want my kids to have to go through that. So that's when I went to the Lord in prayer. And I said, you got to help me, and I know that some people think, this is not a God thing. But in my life, this is what Plexus has been to me. It's been a God thing. So that's why when I share my testimony, I'm truthful. I'm real. This is who I am. I'm not going to leave him out of it because he's the one who brought me to Plexus. And so that morning, she went to school, and I went on my knees in prayer, and I cried out to the Lord, and I said, you got to help me. I need help. I don't want to do this anymore. And this is what the doctors are telling me I have to do. And so hello? You guys okay? And so then what happened was I got up, and the Lord led me to my computer, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go on my computer. So the word hippie came to my mind. And so when I think of hippies, I think of like people who just take all natural things. So that's what I typed in the computer. I typed in all natural remedy for diabetes, and it came up with all kinds of things. And then all of a sudden there was this pink drink that was made for type 2 diabetics, and so I was like, this could be it. It said it was all natural. People lost weight. And so I was like, I could lose weight, and so I just ended up moving in faith, and I ordered from the first website I seen. And so when my husband came home, I told him about it, and he's like, you tried Herbalife, you tried Purium, you tried Dialysis, or whatever the other stuff is called. I said, it's not to lose weight, it's to get healthy. So what happened was I took it. Next month, my blood sugar count was going down. The numbers were going down. I didn't tell my doctor. The doctor kept telling me, continue to do the Victoza, continue to do the metformin. But I stopped the Victoza that morning in April when I ordered my Plexus. When I ordered my Flex combo, I did not shoot myself again. I did not go to the doctor, and I don't know, and you just did it yourself. And I was like, well, I went to the Lord in prayer, and I felt like he gave it to me. But I do not suggest, if you're taking medication, you know, you go to the doctor or go to the Lord, whatever he leads you to do. But I just stopped. And so every month I went to the doctors. Dr. Shepard was like, your blood sugar is going. And I was like, I'm not going to tell him. So when I ended up going in August, he told me my blood sugars were at 88. And he's like, you are great. You know, we can cut your metformin in half. And I said, you know what? I just got to be real. I got to tell you straight. I didn't tell you this because I didn't want you to tell me I couldn't, but I have been doing Plexus for 5 months, and I haven't been doing the Victoza or doing metformin. And so he's like, no metformin. I said, maybe I did it like maybe once or twice throughout these months. I said, but I haven't shot myself. I have all the pens in the refrigerator, you know. And so he told me to continue doing what I was doing. So when I joined in April, I did not want to sell anything. It was for the wholesale price, because whenever I know that I'm going to do something, I'm going to continue to do it. I want to save money. So that's what I did. I didn't have no business thought in my mind. I was happy. I'm a daycare provider. I've been doing it for 7 years from my home. So I was cool with it. And then the Lord led me to Amy, actually, at our county fair. There was a Plexus, because I didn't even know Kauai was on it. I didn't have a Facebook at that time. I just went to the computer like the Lord led me to, and I didn't even know that there was Plexus here on Kauai. I mean, I did not know that Amy was like our upline, our jewel, you know, like our future jewel at that time. I didn't even know who she was. But I seen a Plexus booth, and I'm like, Plexus, that's what I've been taking all this time. So I ran over there to her, and she kind of looked at me like, oh my gosh, this Samoan chick running up to me, because I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Plexus. That's the thing that I've been drinking, you know? So I went right up to her, and I was like, you know, I ordered this thing from this other person, and she's not even helping me. I didn't even know what I'm doing, or I'm just going online and reading. She doesn't even talk to me, you know, and she's just looking at me like, oh my gosh, and she's cracking up. Like, this chick just ran up to me and gave me her whole life story, because I was so excited when I seen the sign. And then she kind of told me, she's like, and so she told me what I should do. And, you know, so we ended up joining. I ended up, you know, joining on her team and stuff. But it's been such a blessing. So when I told her the story about me, I said, and now I'm off my diabetes medication, but I've been off of it, but now the doctor says I don't need to be on it. So, you know, and she's like, Val, you're so funny. She goes, but you know, you got to share your story. And I was like, I don't want to share my story. And then she told me, well, you know what, Val, I'm just going to be straight up with you. You're selfish. And I was like, this lady don't even know me, and she's telling me I'm selfish. You know, I was like, oh my goodness. You know, like I had to, like I said, you know, sometimes that Samoan got to rise up, but I'm a new creation in Christ. So I was like, she just told me I'm selfish. And then she said, but don't you have a lot of people in your family that you could help that has diabetes, that have health issues? You know, because all this time I'm thinking this pink drink, I didn't do any research on it. Like I said, it wasn't for business. So I didn't care what I was drinking. All I cared was that it was helping me with my blood sugar. You know, I was just like, whatever it is, it's working. So she told me, don't be selfish about it, you know, share it. And then that summer I ended up getting a Facebook again. So she goes, just share your testimony to say what happened, you know, what you did. And I was like, okay, I'll try. And I was like, because I always said I'm not going to be those ones that shares my health testimony that you're going to see a picture of me. I mean, that call that you just did, Steph, today with that picture, I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate seeing my picture on those kinds of things. So I mean, I like to take selfies, but you know, it's like for me, but when I see it blasted out there, I'm like, oh my goodness. So I was like, I'm not going to be one of those, but I ended up being one of those, and I thank God for it. But so I posted it, and everybody just started commenting and saying, well, where did you get it? Like, how do you do this? And So then the Lord had another plan with plexus. I was like, okay, so I'm doing this for my health, but he also had a plan for the business. And since then, I mean, it just grew and grew and grew. And I actually closed my daycare. So like I said, I've been a daycare provider for 7 years, and it's kind of hard because I can't go nowhere. People want to meet up, but I'm just thankful. I'm
Wow.
just so thankful because now I can go and meet up with people during the day. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, wait, my daycare closes at 4:30. I can't meet with you till then, and getting on Zoom meetings with the kids in the background. It was just so hard. But I said, you know what, God, you led me to this, so I'm gonna go 100% into this. So since then, it's been good. It's been awesome.
Oh,
So that's my plexus story, like in a short version, but it was really long.
it was good, y'all. It was good. Thank you so much for sharing. So you had really high sugars, and then the plexus. What were you on? Were you on the Slim, the Probio, the Bio Cleanse? What were you on? Just the pink drink?
Yes, I was just on the triplex, the BioCleanse, the Slim, and the Probio 5.
Okay. Wow.
So that's what I started with. But then when my business started growing and I was like, okay, now I'm making extra money, I'm going to try the X Factor, I'm going to try the Mega X.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like a plexus junkie. I mean, I have plexus products all over the place, so it's just, I know everybody ends up being one, but that's how it was. So I just try everything, but that's what I was on for those 4.5 months was the triplex combo.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, I was addicted to Pepsi. Haven't had a sinus infection. The money that I put into going to the ER every month for 3.5 years, every single month I was going to the ER because I had health issues. I don't even go to the ER anymore. I'm like, this just doesn't seem real. My vision is better. It's not blurry because I didn't know those were all symptoms of diabetes and all those stuff. I had high blood pressure too when I went in. My oxygen was low at the ER. That's why they admitted me. So all those things, I thought that was normal. But now since my energy, I love my life. I wake up, I'm ready to start my day. And it's just like, I didn't know this was the feeling of normal.
Yeah.
I thought all those years of just feeling tired all the time and not having to have my coffee. I drink coffee because I want it now, not because I need it. So it's been a great blessing.
Yeah. Wow. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I know you got to go pick up your man, but I appreciate you taking time out and sharing
Yeah.
with us, and just, that's an inspiration. Like, just because someone starts out not wanting to do the business, I think honestly, most of us started that way. It's just,
Right.
I'm going to be taking this, just like you said, I want to save as much money as I can. And
Right.
you gold, going on senior gold. So, that is exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
That is so exciting. Thank you so much for sharing.
All right. Thank you, Steph. Bye, everybody.
Oh, okay. So, I've heard her story before, but it's always just exciting to hear that, people are out there looking. They really are. And, you never know where you're going to meet them. So being prepared and knowing about the products, about the information, having these stories that you can tell people, well, yeah, I have a friend that, this was her story and this is what it did for her. That's exciting. So, okay, today I am going to talk to you guys. I hope you have some pen and paper handy. And if you don't, go grab some because we're going to have some writing to do verbatim. I want to talk to you guys about speaking more to, and this is going to sound like woo woo, but I want to talk to you about, I'm right in the light. I want to talk to you guys about speaking more to your subconscious mind, to the subconscious mind, instead of, we've all heard the thing, facts tell, stories sell. And stories is what helps connect people in their subconscious mind. Instead of you being your conscious mind, you're going through all the facts and the details and how does this work and all this and that. If you can share a story and connect with someone that way, that is hitting them on an emotional level instead of a scientific facts that you're trying to browbeat into them. Sheila Medina, she is our first diamond in the company, and she said she is a storyteller. She built her company by telling stories. So this is from tips from the top. So here's some things that this tonight I'm going to help share with you to help. You know, when you see a commercial on TV, they are not 45 minutes long. They are 15, 30 seconds. You know, sometimes you'll get a commercial that's like a minute, and that's about it. And you know, these guys are the experts. This is what they make multi-billion dollars doing. So let's learn some tips from them and try to connect more with the subconscious mind, telling a story, seeing something visual, a feeling instead of facts. So anyway, you know, we do a presentation, and I try to keep presentations as short as possible. If people are asking questions and everything like that, that is awesome. But when you're sharing about the company, here's some things that are going to help you. So people have a short attention span. Most decisions are made in the subconscious mind, so it makes sense to learn how to connect with your subconscious mind, right? So anyway, tonight we're going to do that. And this is not winging it. You know, you don't have to feel like, oh, just go out there and come, you know, it comes naturally. No, just write it down. Okay, because I wrote it down, and so now I'm sharing it with you the same way. This is not from me. This is actually from Tom Schreider. He is a legend in network marketing. He has had over $1 billion in sales. So this man, he is known for helping people connect, telling stories, being able to get to people on their level quickly instead of, you know, 30 minutes later, you know, you're trying to wrap things up. So anyway, he starts out by saying, I've got a good story. Those are your first words. I've got a good story. So when people hear that, they think the presentation is going to be later. So what does that do? It gets them into gear for hearing this story. They want to hear how it goes, and they're not like this, okay, she's going to try to sell me on something and convince me that this is the best thing. I've got a good story. Okay, so the next thing is your objections and your defenses go down. Humans are programmed. I mean, we want to hear stories. Your kids, you know, let's read a book. Tell me a story. That's how we work. If you hear a story, you know, we'll hear stories during preaching, and you're like riveted. You may have been, you know, lying in and out, and then like he starts a story and you're focused, you know, and you want to hear the end of it. So I've got a good story. Then takes about 2 minutes. Why do you say it takes about 2 minutes? Well, if your story's going to take longer than 2 minutes, then say that. But don't be saying, you know, I've got a story, it takes about 45 minutes. Okay? Everybody's going to be like tuning you out. So this is where sharing your story quickly comes into play. Okay? So I've got a good story, takes about 2 minutes. You know, if it's going to be longer, you know, it takes about 3-4 minutes, takes a few minutes, whatever. And when are they going to want to hear it? They're going to want to hear it now. You know, I've got a good story, takes 2 minutes. The next words are, might make you a lot of money, might not. And so you're going to change this up also. I mean, if you are talking to this person and you know they are going to run screaming if you mention money or business, okay, don't say might make you a lot of money. But you could say, you know, might help you with those migraines, might not. Might help you with your energy, it might not. It might be something for you, it might not. So when you have that kind of that take back, instead of like, you've got to listen to this, it's so awesome, and you got to do this, and da. When you kind of give that takeaway power, it kind of makes them think like, wait a minute here. You know, I want to hear about this because I think this could be for me. You know, I know her and it's done great things for her. And they start thinking of things on why they should join, reasons they should join, or reasons they should try it, instead of being on that defense of trying to think of things like to say because they don't want to try it, you know. So take that takeaway power instead of being forceful and you need to do this. It might be for you, it might make you a lot of money, it might not. Okay, so I've got a good story, takes about 2 minutes. Might make you a lot of money, it might not. Then your next sequence is, want to hear it? So now you've pretty much you've got people asking you to tell them about Plexus. Tell them this story, tell them your presentation, you know. So it helps with lowering defenses. It helps people relax because everybody likes hearing a good story. And they especially like short ones. And then when you say this might benefit them in some way, they're like, okay. And then when you say it might not, then they're kind of like, well, wait a minute, it might, you know? So anyway, got a good story, takes about 2 minutes, might make you whatever, might not. Do you want to hear it? Okay. So then you go into, would it be okay if? Those are your next words. Would it be okay with? And so if you say, would it be okay with, this is one of those things that's kind of funny. Like you'll have people come to you and I want you to feel how you feel when you hear these words. So think about that. Your mind responds to different word sequences. Okay, so there's different sequences of words that when you hear them, it'll put your guard up. Some of them, they will make you be more attentive to listening. So here's a couple that people get a negative feeling with. Would you be interested in, this is a negative one, because you're already thinking like, they're asking me if I'm interested in something. What am I going to say? What excuse am I going to make? Here's another one. I just got involved with. Okay, so you can kind of feel like when someone comes to you and they're like, I just got involved with, and automatically, at least for me, I'm kind of like, okay, they're going to try to get me to join their company. I'm not interested. How do I say this nicely? I don't want to hurt their feelings. But if you say, would it be okay if you were able to make enough money so you didn't have to leave your babies anymore? Or, you know, and this is where it comes into play with you. Every person is going to be different. You know, if you know this group of people or this person, you know, would it be okay with you didn't have to work that third job anymore? You know, would it be okay if we're talking health, would it be okay if you found something that was simple that helped with energy? You know, so whatever that is, but the words, would you be okay if? Okay, that's your next sequence. So think of things to say and write out examples too, you know. You found something simple to help with energy. You could quit your job. And so your subconscious mind starts working on what the perfect scenario would be for you. And so if, you know, would you be okay if you didn't have to go back to work anymore? Would you be okay if your husband was able to stay home and have more time with the babies? Whatever it is, would you be okay if? Okay. And then we are going to be going into the whole money compensation. So how much money would you need so you? That's your next thing. So would you be okay if you didn't have to spend all this time away from your babies and you could be there when they needed you? I mean, who's going to say no to that? Okay. And then, so how much money would you need so that you could stay home with them? We're not asking them how much money they want to make, okay? How much money would you be happy with? Well, that could be a gajillion, zillion dollars, and our company doesn't do that on the third level, okay? People want to hear, you're trying to make this to a small amount as possible. You're not asking how much they make. You're trying to help manage and guide the whole conversation here. So it's not so much of just a big free-for-all, and you can kind of help guide their mind into different areas that you're trying to get them to see if this could be something for them, okay? So you're not asking how much they make, you're asking them how much money would you need so that you could quit that third job. And you want it to be as small as possible. So if it's, okay, I'm using this third job to help pay for that car payment, that's $300-400, okay? Or, by the time I pay for daycare and this, extra car that we have and the insurance on that, and everything, we would be getting ahead if I made an extra $1,000 a month. So getting them to think, what is the smallest amount? How much money would you need so you? Okay. So kind of backtrack here from the beginning. I've got a good story. Takes about 2 minutes. Might make you a lot of money, might not. Okay, we're just going to go with the money for this whole thing. Do you want to hear it? Okay, so now you've gotten their interest. It's a story. It's going to be short. They're asking me for permission. They're not just cramming this down my throat. And then would it be okay with, would it be okay if, would it be okay with if you never had to go back to work again, you were able to stay home with your babies? Whatever it is, would you be okay if? Okay, then the next one. So how much money would you need so you fill in the blanks? Okay. And so it's going to be different again for everyone. If you're talking to someone that's elderly or they're young or they're in college, so how much money would you need? You don't have to work that second job, help still pay off bills for college. So whatever it is, trying to connect with that person, find out, you don't want to go into big, huge details about finding out their why, but if you look at them and you can kind of guesstimate, okay, they've got a car, whatever the case, trying to connect with them, okay? So make it as small as possible. If $300-400, if it's $1,000, whatever it is, find out what that is. Have your people start thinking about that. The next sequence of words. Well, you know how, and I think these are so great. 4 words. Well, you know how. And so I'm hoping I can make this clear. In our minds, we think what we know is right. We don't like admitting if we don't know something. So when someone says, well, you know how, you automatically just kind of, it's almost instinctual. You just kind of start nodding because, well, of course I know. And yes, what I know is right. And so, yeah, we're on the same level. Of course I know. Yes, what is it do I know? Well, how hard it is to stay healthy. We're all so busy. And so, yeah, I am so busy, or, well, how the economy's in the toilet. Yeah, they're not asking, wait a minute, was there a survey done? How deep in the toilet? Did they measure with their hands? No, they're just agreeing with you because, well, yeah, you know how. I mean, it's just kind of automatic. And you start saying these words to yourself or practice on your spouse. And so you can just get some practice in. Well, you know how, whatever the problem is. If it's for finances, then, the economy is bad. Or, well, you know how, our economy in Alaska, or, how it's really hard to keep a good job nowadays. Or, well, how, whatever. Well, it's, hard to lose weight. You don't have time for complicated, plans and diets, whatever. The sequence of words is, well, you know how. Okay. So during this time, you're kind of getting some interaction, some feedback from them. And then you give a solution. So this is your question. Well, you know how, da, 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 da. Well, there's this company called Plexus that, and then you fill in the blank. Well, there's this company called Plexus that, and then you fill in the solution to the problem that you just mentioned in the sentence before. Okay. And so you want this to be about your product. You want this to be about your company. And you don't, I know for me, I am a person that likes facts. But at the same time, here's a really good example. If I go into a shoe store and I see all the shoes on the rack, I am not thinking, okay, how was this made? The shoemaker's family, they live in a log cabin, and they're really broke and they had this vision to start this. And it's like, no, these shoes are cute. I need a pair like this, or maybe I don't need a pair, but it's a really good price and it makes my calves look good. Okay. So you're not thinking about, I want to hear all the details behind it. So just give them an overview of what this company that's called Plexus can help them with. Okay. So, well, how it's always so hard to eat healthy and, getting to the gym and everything else when we're always so busy. Well, there's this company called Plexus that has products that are simple, they're easy to use, and they're not complicated. You just need a bottle of water. That's it. Whatever the response is, okay? If it's for business, think of things. So, make that as some homework tonight. Kind of practice through these. Well, how? Well, there's this company called Plexus. And explain in as simple a way as possible in a short amount of time as possible. This company called Plexus, that their products, they're simple to use. They help get to the root of the problem so your body can start working on things it needs to. Whatever, you get the drift, okay? Now, if you never wanted to, this is our next sequence, okay? Now, if you, okay, so now if you, and then there's a blank for you to fill in whatever you need. Now, if you never wanted to go back to work again, all you have to do is, and you're going to be figuring out in your mind, okay, so say they want to be making, $500-$600 a month. That would put them at about a senior gold level. So now, if you never wanted to go back to work again with our company, all you'd have to do is help 20, 30 people take these products faithfully. Take these products. See the vision. Whatever you want to say. But get that number. Like, okay, if they're wanting to make $1,000 a month, that might be more of a senior gold. Senior gold's 250 points. Breaking it down, whatever it is, we're going to just go simple and easy here. So let's say they want to make $300-$400 a month. That's a number that a lot of people can feel like they can do. And that's about gold. That's a gold, what a gold would make, and more. A gold would make more than that. But so that's about 20 people. Okay, so if you say, now if you never wanted to go back to work again, if you never had to go back to that second or third job, all you have to do is help 20 people use these products. So now these people are thinking, 20 people? I only know 3 and 2 of them hate me, So they're like, I don't know enough people to do this. And so they're just depressed. They think it's impossible. It doesn't matter what number you would say. If you said 3 people, you say, oh, you only need 3 people to get to silver. And people are like, I don't know anybody. That's 3 people. So it doesn't matter what number you would say. They would still not be happy, but that's okay. That's okay. Because our next sequence, okay, so the last sequence was now, if you, and then you have that blank, all you have to do is, and then you have that other blank, help, however many people get these products and be using them. Okay. So our next sequence, now you don't know how to get 20 people. Now, you don't know how to get 20 people, but you could learn. But you could learn. And so, like with anything, when you have an example, when you have a story, it helps them understand that, oh, I can do this. So you're going to give them a couple examples. Okay. If they're working that third job at McDonald's, you could say, when you first started McDonald's, you didn't know how to work the cash register or work the fryer or anything else, but you learned because there was a system. You didn't know how to tie your shoes. You learn. There's a way that you do it. There's steps that you do. There's a system. So giving them 2 examples, whatever it is, they didn't know how to drive a car, but they learned. So letting them know that, oh, I have learned things in my life. And you kind of have to remind people and let them know that, yes, you really have learned things and you've been good at it, So now, if you never wanted to have to go back to work again, all you have to do is help 20 people use these products. And so then they're thinking, I don't know, 20 people, I can't do this, I don't know anyone. And then you say, now, you don't have to know how to get these 20. You don't know how to get these 20, but you can learn. Okay? And then you give them the examples. So from the top here, we have, I've got a good story. It takes about 2 minutes. It might make you a lot of money. It might not. Do you want to hear it? Okay. So story, they're interested. Would it be okay if you didn't have to work that third job anymore? And then they're thinking, how much money would you need so you didn't have to? And if this is more like a one-on-one, you're having conversation, they're talking back to you, so, how much money would you need? And they say, oh, this help pay for that, $300-400. $300-400. How much would you need to get by? We're not talking, massive overloads, just to get you out of that job. How much would you need? Bare minimums. How much would you need? So they say, $400, $400, okay? Well, you know how we're all so busy working that it's really hard to find time for us, for health, and we're exhausted all the time. Well, there's this company called Plexus that has simple products. They're easy. All you need is a bottle of water, and it helps give you sustained energy through the whole day. It works at the root levels, so you're not having to take all of these different pills and all this different caffeine. It's something simple. So now, if you never wanted to have to go back to that third job, all you have to do is help 20 people use these products just like you're interested in doing. Now, you don't know how to get 20 people, but you can learn. Okay, and that's where you give them the examples of, you didn't know how to work that third job when you first started, but you had to be trained. There was a system in place. And, you didn't know how to drive a car, but you learned. You learned how to, use 1 foot instead of 2, unless it's a stick shift. Look in your rearview mirror, adjust everything. You learned, okay? Everybody learns things. So giving them those examples, getting to their subconscious mind that, oh, I have done this in the past and it was successful. So you want to try to find things that they were successful at, okay? Not like, I don't know how to date. They've all been terrible, that might be a bad thing if you see that they're still not married or something like that. So just trying to find something to connect with them, 2 examples to be talking to that subconscious mind, getting past the objections and getting to the subconscious. So now you don't know how to get 20, 30 people, but you could learn. And so then that's where you say you could learn a system. We have that system in place. We're there every step of the way for you. And what's going to be easier for you? To continue working And okay, so that's your next thing. What's going to be easier for you? That's your next sequence of words. What's going to be easier for you? Or you could also say, are you okay with? So what's going to be easier for you to continue staying at that job, not having the free time that you need to be able to just, stay healthy, take care of yourself, sleep like you need to? What's going to be easier for you? Or you could say, are you okay with things continuing as they are, continuing to work that job, not getting much time to do anything else, barely having time to study, not being able to see your babies like you want, your husband being gone at all hours? Are you okay with still not feeling well? You've tried all these different things. You've gone to the naturopaths, you've gone stuff at the health food store, and it still hasn't worked. Are you okay with just continuing the way things are and not giving this a chance? Whatever it is, are you okay with, or what's going to be easier for you? So those are those two things, and work through these. That's the end of our sequence. that's the whole shebang right there. I've got a good story. It takes about 2 minutes. Might make you a lot of money, might not. Do you want to hear it? And you don't have to say this verbatim, but having it written down and knowing it and being familiar with it, then you could say, then you can make things up a little bit. You can change things up. But I've got a good story. It only takes a couple minutes. It might benefit you. It might not. You want to hear it? You're asking permission. Would it be okay if, you never had to go back to that job, or once this baby's born, you didn't have to go back to work? You didn't have to have somebody else raise your child at the daycare. You didn't have to work that fourth job, third job. I mean, people work all kinds of things. It's crazy. Whatever it is, would it be okay if you didn't have, that tiredness anymore? Being able to go out and do things. Would it be okay with you if you were able to actually do that? And then if it's not about money, then change it. Okay. If you're asking them about health, then you're not going to say, so how much money would you need? So change things up. Maybe what kind of a health supplement are you looking for? What have you tried in the past? Get them talking, going through all these things that they've tried that did not work. Okay. So we're going to go back to money. So how much money would you need so that you would not have to go back to work? Whatever it is, they say whatever it is, we're going to go with $300-400. Well, how we're always so busy, you feel like you have to leave your babies, and they're always, they're sick and they want you there and you can't be there for them. Well, there's this company called Plexus that's helping moms and dads all over the place on my team. For people that I know, it is helping them to be able to stay home because they have products that are simple, they work, they get to the root of health issues, and they're easy. I mean, we're already busy as it is. We don't want to have a lot of time spent on doing other things. So now if you never wanted to have to go back, all you'd have to do is help 20 people. Join your team. Use these products like you're using it. They could be, they could see the vision and be like, I want to get an extra $300-400 myself. Or, I just want to get the cheapest price. Whatever the case, all you need is 20 people. Now, you don't know how to get those 20 people, but you could learn. So you can learn the system. We've all learned, when you had to go to work, you learned how to do that system. When you learned how to drive a car, you learned how to do that. You learned how to walk. You learned how to tie your shoes. We learn things all the time. And there is a system in place already. I am there to help you, walk you through that so that you have your own business, but you're not in it alone. You can learn a system. So what's going to be easier for you? Or are you okay with, or even for both of them, So these are just some words. I know we went a little longer tonight, but these are some words, some phrases to help you connect with someone more instead of going through facts. And we're in Arizona. We've been around since 2008. And, we're in the Inc. 5000, number 8. And our products are this and this and this, and it helps with that. I'm not saying that everybody not gonna want to hear that because that's my personality. I want to hear more about it. But to get me interested, if you can do something short and that piques my attention, just like a commercial, how much money do people make from commercials? They're short, they're quick, they're to the point. So being able to get a 2-minute story down, a 5-minute story, whatever it is, be working through it, share a little bit of your tidbits. There's this company called Plexus, that's what I'm a part of, and it's helped me. I was in the same position you were. I was working this 3rd job, and now I don't have to. I'm able to stay home with my babies. It's because these products work, they're simple, yada yada yada. I mean, so incorporating your story through it, but using this verbiage, you can already feel how it helps connect you more with that person, because you're asking them, you're talking to them, you're telling them, look, I'm here. You can learn a system. You don't know how, but you can learn. We have the systems in place already. We're here for you. What's going to be easier for you? Are you okay with having to continue to work, having to leave your babies home, not be there for them? Are you okay with trying more and more fads and, starving yourself and cutting carbs, and it's still not benefiting? It's still not really getting to the root of health issues. So whatever it is, I hope that helped you guys tonight. I was scribbling notes like crazy, and I've been using this, and it gets a different response from people. So I challenge you, I encourage you to go out this week, Rebecca and Robin, maybe when you're getting back with those people, just say, I got a quick story. It only take a couple minutes. You want to hear it. Might make you a lot of money, might not. Or this health product might benefit you, it might not. And then just go into it. So anyway, I hope that helped you guys, because it was very interesting to me. So let's see, unmute everyone.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Slept the whole time. Because I'm home. My husband's been gone. So I was like, okay, you're going down for pretty late, and it worked. So thank you guys so much for your time. I know this was a little longer than regular, but I hope it benefited you guys.
You might want to absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Steph.
Okay, thank you. We'll see ya.
Bye.